Okay, let's take a look again at this next image of the president. This was kind of an interesting thing. It happened when I had gone to the White House website, but it was just a quick little pop-up, and when I saw it, I was like, this is perfect. But again, what I want you to look at is what are the visual design elements being used, not just in the overall design, but also in the photography construction as well. And then what's the intention here? What was the main point of what's happening? So pause the video clip and analyze it further. Okay, so now let me tell you about what I'm actually seeing in this image. So, first of all, in terms of forms, there's a number of different forms that we see. First of all, the president. I'm also seeing the box, the staying formed box, as well as the logo up at the top. There's also some forms in the background that you can make out, but they're blurry, and that changes sort of the relationship in this, particularly from the standpoint perspective, which we'll get to in a second. In terms of size, the president is clearly the most dominant, is the largest part of this image, part of this design. It's clearly the most important. The box also is pretty large, pretty important, and it's placed up in the upper left-hand corner. It's one of the first places we're going to look in an image in general when it has text on it. From the standpoint of line by itself, there's not really anything that stands out in terms of line. There's a couple things here and there. Obviously, there's boxes and they have lines, and there's forms and there's lines around the forms, but there's nothing that really stands out in particular. But from the standpoint of perspective, what we see is there's really this line, this perspective that starts at the box, goes through the president, and then goes off to the flag in the background. And the lack of focus in the background really helps to enhance the perspective in the image. Now, what this means is we've got sort of a particular way that we're looking at this image. Although in this case, it's a little bit inverted, because one of the first things that we're going to look at will usually be the president. Then we might look at the staying formed box, because that's more or less the direction that he's looking in. Then we might start looking at some of these other aspects of the image. The white space here, even though we've got a very populated background, we actually don't feel that there's, it's too crowded. Anytime we take an image, there's going to be background, and that's just part of the image. But it doesn't seem too crowded. There's some breathing room, particularly because there's one focal aspect of the image, and then there's other very well-defined aspects, such as the staying formed box, the logo, and then no thanks go to the website in the top bottom right. So what's the intention? The intention really has to deal with the person creating this, and particularly the president, wants you to stay. That's the intention. They want you to participate. They want you to do something. And part that happens because the president is looking at the staying form box, but also because the staying form box is right in your face. It's right there. We also have some other things in terms of just the meaning of the president in relation to everything else out here. Because the president's looking in the direction he is and not straight at you, it gives us idea of he's looking off into the future, he's looking off into the distance, he's got his eyes set towards where America's going, with the flag right behind him, which again was part of that perspective. Really, again, that was put there on purpose. None of this is by accident. The flag here is in a position to suggest that Obama has America behind him. He's got the support of America because he's got the flag behind him. So that's supposed to be a symbol that's representing America as a whole. And the last symbol that stands out is the open door on the left side. Again, that's completely intentional. If they didn't want the door to be open, they would have closed the door. They also wouldn't have edited that so that the light there is so bright and it's so clear that it's an open door. So what this means is that he's an open president. He is willing to sort of share who he is, what he's doing with America. And again, this is to say that he's not hiding anything. The last component that you might notice again is the no thanks go to the website. The non-participation is so far off into the corner that it's a non-entity. It's not something they want you to do, so they put it off into the corner and de-emphasize it visually. Okay, thanks again. That's all for this video clip. And again, I just want to remind you, there's one more video clip. It has to deal with design principles. And then once you've watched all three of these video clips, I'd like you to participate in the online forum on Sakai.